Park Highlight Show. This week, we'll relive all 10 races from Saturday, September 11. The eventful day included the feature event, the Reggae Trophy. This was a 3-year-old and upward open allowance, graded stakes event contested over 5 furlongs straight. However, let's begin with Race 1, an optional claiming event for thoroughbreds 3-year-olds and upward. The anti-post third choice Prince Samo was a late non-starter.
They're off. Fair start. Just say the word gets the best one. Goes for that early lead. Mr. Linders in between horses, striking the gorgeous, racing out wide. April Spirit looking for room in between runners. Lady Budget is right there as these front 6 cluster up tightly. Slice the Loon joining them. In behind them, Whatever races down against the rail as they leave the half mile and spin the turn toward the 7/16th. Congratsuki making ground on the outside. Whatever has faded back a place or two. Champion Michaela has only one beat, and that's My Mum Just. They're arriving at the 5/16th, about to come into the top of the lane, and several horses in with a chance at the moment. April Spirit is the one on the rail. Striking the Gorgeous has now taken that lead. Here is Slice the Loon now asked to cut into it as they run toward the 3/16th. It's Striking the Gorgeous attack now by Slice the Loon. Just say the word in behind them. April Spirit running on the spot over against the rail. Congratsuki is out wide, but can they catch this Striking the Gorgeous? Slipping away from them. Inside the final 16th, Tevin Foster and Striking the Gorgeous beginning to run away from them, and they will win by maybe 6 lengths over Slice the Loon. Just say the word. Congratsuki. 5th goes to April Spirit.
Strikingly Gorgeous was on show inside the winner's enclosure as jockey Tevin Foster rode her to a comfortable 5.5 length victory in Race 1. Race 2 was a main condition event for native bred thoroughbreds 4-year-olds and upward. 8 horses were entered going 1,100 meters.
Field in 9 for the second, 1,100 meters, 5.5 furlongs. Immediately they're sent off, and Junior Jones staggers out after a stuttering start. Bad Boy Theodore, a narrow leader. She's a mistake pulling alongside. They make eye contact briefly, and She's a Mistake goes on under O'Neill Bullings as they head toward the half mile. She's a Mistake leading up. Soul Treasure just a length and a half back in second. Cupcake is racing down near the rail, right alongside Valiant. Bad Boy Theodore has faded back 6 lengths off that lead. Shanae now making ground on his outside. Bacola is next, and a long way last is a slow starting Junior Jones. They're about to arrive at the 5/16 to make their way to the top of the stretch. She's a Mistake cuts the corner on the rail. Soul Treasure attacking on the outside. These are the two main ones as She's a Mistake comes into the lane with a quarter of a mile to run. Put to the right hand stick. The rider changing it quickly to his left. Soul Treasure dashing up on the outside now for a big challenge as they run to the furlong pole. These two going at it. Cupcake now begins to make ground on the outside. Further back to Bad Boy Theodore, but She's a Mistake over on the rail continues to lead up under O'Neill Mullings and begins to come away now inside the final 16th. She's a Mistake, and O'Neill Mullings will win comfortably in the end by maybe 5 over Cupcake. Soul Treasure is third. 4th, Bad Boy Theodore.
There was no error as She's a Mistake came home 5 lengths clear to stop the clock at 1 minute 11 3/5 of a second, going 1,100 meters. Race 3 saw the field reduced to 6 as the Richard Azan conditioned pair of Power Ranking and Rum Puncher were both late non-starters. Here's how these native-bred 2-year-olds competed over 800 meters.
They're off. 31 Kisses broke well, along with Sunset Silhouette beginning to drift just a bit toward the stands. Adizi is the one in the red nearest the stands. Awesome Rich now beginning to attack across, just ahead of 31 Kisses on the far side. Tekka Punt and Fly Messenger Fly race off the fractions as they run toward the quarter pole. Deezy nearest to us looks to have the overall lead. Awesome Rich is in the center. Sunset Silhouette now switched to the stand fence for run. Tekka Punt is on the far side, not too far away to land a blow, but Deezy continues to stride out powerfully. Approaching the furlong pole, it is a Deezy and a Philip Parchment who hold the advantage as they run toward the 16th marker. Tekka Punt now beginning to worry Deezy. These two going at it with Deezy continuing to hold the advantage and will hold it to the line to beat Tekka Punt. Then Awesome Rich.
It was a 1-2 finish for trainer Jason DaCosta. Deezy clocked 48 2/5 of a second, going 800 meters to finish ahead of Tekka Punt. Awesome Rich, Sunshine Silhouette, and 31 Kisses completed the top 5. The fourth event was a restricted allowance contest in the category of native-bred 5-year-olds and upwards.
1 mile the trip, they're off. Corazon Sin Miedo came off just slow along with Perry Boy, who now is relegated to last. As they make their way running up now toward the 7, Thunder Strike very narrowly leads. Dr. Gray is right there on the rail, these two heads apart. Nez Pierce now moving down on the outside. Silver Tap and Kaya also making progress. Sweet Surprise just in behind the front rank, followed up by Corazon Sin Miedo, and Berry Boy is last. Possibly 6 or 7 lengths separates the entire bunch, with Thunder Strike now moving up to get that lead. Silver Tap pressing an attack on the outside. A half a length separates them. Nez Pierce under a snug wrap leads the 5 in third, just 2 lengths off that lead, followed by Kaya right on his tail. Just in behind those, Corazon Sin Miedo. A Berry Boy making ground on the outside. Sweet Surprise hugs the rail. And last of all, it's a Dr. Gray as they've left the half mile, about to arrive at the 7/16. Thunder Strike holding on to that lead up front under Ricardo Duhaney as they run past the 3, leading up by some 2 lengths. Here is Silver Tap now asked to close up that gap. Berry Boy also looking threatening on the outside. Nez Pierce is the one hugging the rail and saving ground, but Thunder Strike is first into the lane. A quarter of a mile to run. Berry Boy attacking now on the outside. Nez Pierce, the rider, becoming a busy man over against the rail. In behind them, a Silver Tap looks to be running on the spot along with the rest, but the war up front with Berry Boy now getting the head in front. Thunder Strike under the stick now, asked to fight back as they thunder past the furlong pole. It is a Berry Boy out in front from Thunder Strike. A 16th remaining. Berry Boy, Thunder Strike is rallying. Corazon Sin Miedo and Sweet Surprise now beginning to run on. Sweet Surprise on the far side. Corazon Sin Miedo. Corazon Sin Miedo gets up perfectly timed to beat, it looks like, Sweet Surprise.
Leading rider Anthony Thomas delivered the victory for the Kabisha Little trained and owned Corazon Sin Miedo. Race 5 was a claiming event for horses 3-year-olds and upwards, going 1,200 meters.
They're off. An almost perfect start. Also Aviator Buckaluk comes away with it. Just the leader. There goes Storm Princess now rushing up to challenge. Stanislaus toward the outside, Mother Nature in between horses. Bruce Wayne races out wide. Just an Illusion in the orange with the white sleeves is right against the rail as these are tightly bunched up and make their way flashing past the half mile. Diligent making ground, that's the grey on the outside of Awesome Aviator. A huge gap opens up to Smarty Tradition, moving ahead of the trailer, 1 squeeze. They're arriving at the 3/8 pole and making their way toward the 5/16th, and the war up front continues with Stanislaus just the leader. Here's Buckaluk now delivering a challenge on the outside, and these two will come swinging into the top of the stretch. Buckaluk now kicking on, just the leader from Stanislaus now trying to fight back in the pink sleeve. Diligent is wound up in between horses. Bruce Wayne is the one kicking in on the outside. These are the main contenders as they run toward the furlong pole. Buckaluk just the leader under Christopher Mamdeen. They've left the furlong pole. Here now is a Diligent and a Bruce Wayne. Stanislaus is over on the far side, but Buckaluk is digging in. Bruce Wayne now beginning to nibble at that lead. Buckaluk being grabbed late by Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne will beat Buckaluk. Diligent in a photograph with Awesome Aviator Stanislaus.
A wealth of talent and a superhero-like performance in the closing stages saw Bruce Wayne edging Buckaluk for victory. Diligent was third, followed by Awesome Aviator and Stanislaus. Race 6 saw a full field of 16 entered for a main special weight event for native-bred 3-year-olds. The distance, 1,400 meters.
Now they're off. Miss HJF Sky Zone came off slow with Amazonian King, and Ophelius ejected the rider who is on the ground all curled up. That's Linton Stedman. They run toward the 6 furlong point on the course. Absolute Blue and Falkland now hook up to fight for it, with Falkland now going on and beginning to slip away from Absolute Blue 3 parts of a length down in second. Big Man Biden moving fluently in third. Always Vigorous races on the rail as they charge down the backstretch, joined by Achilles Vision. The Good Life on the outside of Fearless Man. It Is What It Is races next, overtaken by Colorado Ranger. Dancing in the Breeze is racing in behind them as the field strings out, leaving the half mile. A break back to Mule Train. Sticky Dawn is racing up there with Amazonian King. Miss HJF is next, and at the back of the field it's Sky Zone and the riderless horse. They've left the 3 and run toward now the final 5/16th, and it is Falkland who has taken complete control. Tevin Foster looking for his second win on the card as they come thundering into the top of the lane. Falkland with a clear advantage. Can they catch this Falkland? Will he stop as they arrive at the 3/16th? But he continues to maintain the advantage and runs toward the furlong pole. The Good Life chasing up. Colorado Ranger now making some ground. Over on the rail, that's a big man Biden, and Hilly's Vision racing in behind, but it is Falkland now being pushed out. The rest of the field beginning to gain, but Falkland looks to have done enough. The rider having a peep behind him, and Falkland comes a roaring home, and Falkland will win it under Tevin Foster, his second win. Colorado Ranger second, the Good Life third, Mule Train fourth, Hilly's Vision is.
Race 6 saw a full field of 16 entered for a main special weight event for native-bred 3-year-olds. The distance, 1,400 meters. The Gary Crawford conditioned Falkland was ridden to victory by jockey Tevin Foster. Falkland completed the 1,400-meter trip in 1 minute 30 and 1/5 of a second.
They're off. Acero comes away toward the back along with Awesome Choice. Pretty Cash, Lure of Lucy, and Hoist the Mast. These 3 now group up tightly as they run toward the half mile. They're battling for that lead as they make their way toward the 4. They're there now, and Hoist the Mast in between horses and narrow leader. Lure of Lucy on the outside attacking. Pretty Cash fading back quickly into third as they make their way toward the 3. King's Magician is asked to make up a 5-length deficit, joined by Chandra's Law. 4 lengths back to Awesome Choice. Acero races ahead of Gentle Giant on the outside, and Nuclear Noon now asked to pick up on the rail as they've left the 5/16th and come thundering into the top of the stretch. Hoist the Mast drifting off a true line, straightening up in the middle, holds on to that lead, and the rider is a super busy man. Lure of Lucy left back near the rail. Right against it, that's Pretty Cash. In between horses, Chandra's Law. King's Magician asked to pick up, and widest of them all, that's Awesome Choice. But Hoist the Mast begins to give way to a battling Lure of Lucy, and Lure of Lucy now gets rid of Hoist the Mast. It is a Lure of Lucy coming away. Thomas will have a double, so too Jason DaCosta. It's close between Awesome Choice, Hoist the Mast, then Chandra's Law.
Lure of Lucy came home first in 1 minute 6 seconds and 3/5 going 1,100 meters to hand leading rider Anthony Thomas his second win of the day. Hoist the Mast was second, followed by Awesome Choice, Chandra's Law, and King's Magician. Race 8 was a 3-year-old and up claiming event which saw 11 entries compete over 1,400 meters.
7 furlongs, they're ready, they're off. Inspired Miracle comes out at the back with Jamai Raja just ahead of him. Extruder gets a good start and goes for that early lead as they charge down the back stretch. And it is Extruder who shows up narrowly. Special Counsel almost hidden from view. Left back in second, a half a length down. There goes Jamai Raja running the rail. Universal Boss is next. Rohan Kabir on the outside of Sebastian. 5.5 lengths separates that bunch. Innovator runs the rail. Azaria racing out 3 wide. Nightlight tucked in between them as they make their way to the half mile. They're almost there, and at the back it's Inspired Miracle and Blood Song. They left the half mile. They're at the 7/16th and are running that turn, and it is Extruder continuing the battle up front with Special Counsel. These 2 heads apart as they leave the 3 and run toward the final 5/16th, and now Special Counsel shoots on. Special Counsel quickly slipping away. Extruder has no answers to that crippling move, and Special Counsel will turn into the lane with a huge and commanding advantage under the right-hand stick as they run toward the 3/16th, and the rider remains a busy man. Universal Boss now begins to close the gap. It's Special Counsel out in front by 2 or more. Universal Boss continuing to take huge chunks out of the lead. Special Counsel giving way, and Universal Boss now snatches it. On the Linton Stedman, it's Universal Boss beginning to power right away from them. Sebastian coming late on the rail. Universal Boss beats Sebastian. Rohan Kabir, Special Counsel. Blood Song is 5th.
Race 8 was a 3-year-old and up claiming event which saw 11 entries compete over 1,400 meters. Under the competent handling of jockey Linton Stedman, the Donovan Plummer conditioned Universal Boss finished 1.5 lengths ahead of second-place finisher Sebastian, followed by Rohan Kabir, Special Counsel, and Blood Song.
Now they're off. K-Boy the last to leave, Old Wolf toward the back as well. Strike at Will took off quickest as they go flashing past the 7. It's Strike at Will and Shiboom who match strides as they make their way toward the 6. Lord of Ajalon races up next. Versatile Vision on his outside, in between them High Diplomacy. Angelos races 5 lengths off that lead. No Identity follows up with Old Wolf. As You Wish is further back, and K-Boy is last. They're about to arrive at the 5 and making their way now toward the half mile, and it's Striker Twill who leads narrowly by a half a length over Shiboom. Lord of Agilon breathing down their neck, so too Versatile Vision. Toward the outside, hidden from view, that's Angelos. High Diplomacy is next, ahead of No Identity. Old Wharf races further back as they have left the half mile and approach the 7/16. K-Boy has now overtaken the new trailer, As You Wish. 3/8 of a mile remaining in the event. They're well into the turn for home. And there goes Versatile Vision now getting the better of Striker Twill, giving way as Versatile Vision leaves the 5/16 and will be first at the top of the lane. It is a Versatile Vision out in front with a quarter of a mile to run. Angelos now trying to get to Versatile Vision. No Identity is on the outside of horses, and this Versatile Vision continues to respond to Christopher Mamdine as they arrive at the furlong pole. Here is Angelos. High Diplomacy is on the rail. No Identity in the red and black racing out wide, but Versatile Vision continues to churn on inside the final 16th. It is Versatile Vision and Christopher Mamdine for Anthony Nunes. They win over No Identity. Close between Angelos and High Diplomacy. K-Boy is 5th.
Versatile Vision, ridden by former champion rider Christopher Mamdine, handed champion trainer Anthony Nunes his only win on the card. No Identity was second, followed by Angelos, High Diplomacy, and K-Boy. The feature event was the Reggae Trophy, a 3-year-old and upward open allowance graded stakes event. There were 10 entries going 1,000 meters or 5 furlongs straight. The likes of Duke, Salvation, King Arthur, and Laban were all heavily fancied.
They're ready, they're off for the Reggae Trophy. Fair start. Rojon the Pilot took off quickly in the center. On the far side, the speedball Patriarch now begins to tack across. King Arthur is not too far off the pace to land a blow. As they sort themselves out, also showing speed as usual, Harry's Train. Salvation is the one running right against the stand fence. Eagle One needs to do more running as they come thundering past the 3. Salvation possibly has the overall lead. Patriarch continuing to tack across. Rojon the Pilot in the center. Harry's Train has to be switched with no room. As they run inside the last quarter, it is Salvation, but here is Patriarch now kicking in. Rojon the Pilot needs to do more. The Great Duke now finding his best stride as they come charging up inside the final furlong in the Reggae Trophy. It is Patriarch who holds the lead. Rojon the Pilot on his inside. These two going at it. Duke now trying to fly on the outside, but they drive toward the line. Rojon the Pilot meets Patriarch, and Duke Laban is next. Could be Salvation 5th over on the far side. Awesome Treasure.
Jockey Dick Cardenas tore up the script and sang his own aboard Rojon the Pilot in the Reggae Trophy. The winning time for the Ian Posada entry was 58 1/5 of a second, going 5 furlongs straight. Patriarch was second, followed by Duke, Laban, and Salvation. As we close out the highlights package for Saturday, September 11, there were 2 wins apiece of jockeys Anthony Thomas and Tevin Foster, while Jason DaCosta was the only trainer to secure 2 wins on the day. This has been another edition of the Caymanas Park Highlight Show.